Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So the Proud Boys seditious conspiracy trial is underway officially after weeks of pretrial fights, temper tantrums. It's been nuts. Two of the Proud Boys attorneys threatened to withdraw from the case if the judge didn't give them their way, if the judge didn't rule in their favor to block certain evidence from being shown to the jury. So apparently their attorneys are just as mature as they are. And the attorney for Dominic Pezzola told the judge that he was planning to tell the jury that Pezzola was acting in self-defense because the police were high on pepper spray. So the judge was like, no, that's not happening. He told the attorney, quote, "I know you just joined the case last week, but there is no evidence of that." You think? So this attorney, by the way, for Pezzola, is Roger Roots. He is a libertarian from Montana, and it tells you everything. He once wrote a pamphlet while he was in prison himself for committing a violent crime, by the way, praising Hitler. In this pamphlet, he praised Hitler, and he said that Black people were so inferior to white people that they were a different species. This is who Pezzola chose as his attorney. And in court, they're trying to convince the jury that this group is inclusive. Oh, they're not racist. They're not bigoted at all. And this Roots guy says, oh, I've been educated now. I've educated myself. I'm no longer racist. I now fight against racism. Yeah, that's why you're defending the Proud Boys. So there was also the drama that was created, as I mentioned recently, about the 6-month suspension of the lead attorney for Proud Boys member Joe Biggs. I shared with you guys that Norm Pattis, that attorney, had his license suspended in connection to his defense of Alex Jones in that defamation suit in Connecticut, in the Sandy Hook trial. So now Norm Pattis is citing irreconcilable differences with his co-counsel in this case, in the Proud Boys case, and he's asking to leave completely. He's saying, yeah, I get you were maybe going to give me a break on that and allow me to still work on this case, but I want out. So this particular issue resulted in the judge yelling at the co-counsel, attorney John Hall, and telling him to sit down. Then the judge took a 45-minute recess, and when he came back, the judge warned everyone. He said, quote, "Everyone take note. You talk over me and contempt will be coming down the line the next time any exchange like that happens. Fair warning, I don't want to have lawyers talking over me. It won't happen anymore. I will hold you in contempt." So we'll see what happens with this whole thing with Biggs' attorney. In the meantime, opening statements began on Thursday of last week. The defense is, of course, blaming everyone but their clients. They are blaming Trump. They are blaming the police. They're blaming law enforcement like leaders for failing to properly prepare for the attack. I mean, why didn't you better prepare for my client's bank robbery? Really? And one of them said that the Capitol attack, this was the racist guy who says he's not racist anymore, by the way. He said, this really wasn't a big deal because it just resulted in a 6-hour delay of the certification of the Electoral College votes. So no harm, no foul. I mean, it didn't stop the certification. It just delayed it. Guys, what's the big deal? We only robbed the bank a little bit. So the prosecutor is up first, of course. They told the jury that the Proud Boys planned in advance to stop Biden from being certified as the winner. And the prosecutor shared some of the Proud Boys' own messages as evidence. This is in the opening remarks. So in a December 27th, 2020 text sent by Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio, he wrote, quote, "Whispers, ... 1776. And in a December 2020 social media post, Tarrio shared a photo of Dominic Pezzola. He was against this fiery backdrop, and it was captioned, quote, "Lords of War" and hashtag J6. And in a message that Tarrio sent around 3 p.m. on January 6th, while this is all going down, Tarrio told his members, quote, make no mistake, we did this. Then in another message, he ordered them, quote, don't fucking leave. And of course, the jury was shown clips of the defendants tearing down barricades, physically attacking officers. They were also shown the video of Dominic Pizzola smashing in a Capitol window with a stolen riot shield, which I recently shared with you guys. So that and much more took place on Thursday. Then on Friday, a police official took the stand. It was Inspector Thomas Lloyd. He testified that if not for the quick thinking, the heroic actions of Eugene Goodman, Officer Eugene Goodman, quote, most likely there would have been gunfire. Then he went on to say, quote, if Officer Goodman had not led the defendant and the rest of the mob away from the Senate lobby and an attempt was made to breach those doors, there would have been tremendous bloodshed. Several rioters would have been carried out of the building if not for the quick thinking of Officer Goodman. Many of my officers were not as lucky as the defendant. So he's obviously referring to Dominic Pizzola because Lloyd was one of the officers who helped to back Goodman up that day after Goodman led the mob away from the Senate chamber. And Dominic Pizzola was part of that mob that chased Officer Goodman up 2 flights of stairs. So Lloyd also detailed for the jury how he received increasingly distraught radio transmissions from his officers that day. He also told them how he stepped into Mitch McConnell's office because apparently his office offers a bird's eye view of what would have been the mob approaching that day. And the officer said that from that vantage point, he could see Trump's terrorists, quote, beating up my officers. In addition, Lloyd described, quote, frantic efforts to distribute water for officers to flush their eyes amid mace and bear spray attacks. So testimony will continue this week. Once the prosecutors are done calling their witnesses, the defense plans to call several FBI informants. The defense attorneys say that these informants can prove that none of what took place on January 6th was pre-planned. But there are different levels of leadership in the Proud Bigots. So just because a low-level member wasn't aware of a plan, that doesn't mean that a plan didn't exist. And I'm sure the prosecutors are smart enough to make these arguments, but I would argue a couple of things right off the top of my head. Number one, the Proud Bigots freaked out and they told everyone in leadership to delete their encrypted messages after Tarrio was arrested on January 4th. That shows consciousness of guilt. They even warned the group that the FBI could get a hold of those messages. That's why they needed to be deleted, and that they could be charged with gang activity. So that sure sounds like they were planning something and not really a peaceful protest or a march. And then there was also the fact that, Tarrio, as I shared with you, is praising them, is telling them, don't leave after they break in. And he told them, let's do it again. That's not something a leader of the group says if they're not happy about it at the very least, or it wasn't planned. If it wasn't planned and that wasn't what they expected or what they had hoped for, he would have said, what the hell are you guys doing? Get out of there. This was not authorized. They said none of that. They were all amped up. They were all excited. And they were happy. They were proud of themselves, as you guys will see and hear over the coming weeks, because I absolutely will stay on top of this and continue to report back to you what goes on in the courtroom. But as of now, it's kind of a shit show. And one of the ringleaders of that is the attorney for Zachary Rell. From what reporters have said who are in the room, she sounds like she is nuttier than a peanut farm. She was holding, they said, the microphone over her head so that reporters and other people outside of the courtroom couldn't hear what she was saying. And then she started giving some analogy to some crazy story that didn't make sense. And then she just literally quit, gave up midway through it because she couldn't remember the rest of it. And just to hear some of the arguments, some of the things that she said to the judge before the trial began, yeah, I'm really shocked that this woman passed the bar. Really, really shocked. If it's that easy, we should all be attorneys, I guess. Anyway, I'll keep you guys posted on all of this. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate or become a monthly supporter on Supercast. It really makes the difference between the show going forward or ending. So I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you all so much. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.